Okay, so I have my beautiful ladies in the studio, and today, so good morning. How are you? Today, I want them to introduce themselves. Look, let me start with
What's your
you.
name?
Are you starting with me?
Yes.
No,
But you are the first person.
look,
Okay.
we start from right.
Okay.
So my
And
name
that's
is,
what I have learned most recent. That
Okay.
even greeting,
You start from right.
the
All
high,
right.
you start from right.
so I will start. Don't worry.
Yes.
The government people, they are not so proud. I'll start. My name is
They are not
Vishis Anand,
confident.
and I'm proudly a member of the NDC, representing the NDC this morning.
My name is Nanaya Jantwa.
Thank you.
I am the
Sweet lady.
executive secretary of COSECA and a political analyst.
Thank you very much.
Former general secretary of the CPP. I've been asked to add that one to it.
Perhaps.
My name is Hajia, Mrs. Rabi Salifu, a proud daughter of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Hajia Samira, the most beautiful second lady ever in the history of Ghana. A very proud communicator of the great ruling New Patriotic Party, Deputy National Communications Director. I'm very passionate, a strong gender activist, precisely a female activist. And all my passion and dream is to see a Ghana where women would take critical role in national development, will be given the access, will not be beaten because they want to express themselves in political parties they find themselves.
Right.
That is me this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just say you should mention your name. You are doing myself.
But you are
Thank you
still-
very
are
much.
you
You said
saying
give
that-
us introduction.
All right,
of
so
yourself.
now let's listen to the Secretary General of the Trade
Introduce
Union Congress
yourself.
on the 15% VAT that has been now introduced or levied on electricity.
If you switch on your fridge, you pay this VAT. This law was passed in 2013. Why is it that all these governments have not implemented it? Why is it that we are allowing IMF to dictate to us to implement this law now?
And that's the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress. And they are doing this alongside organized labor. And Rabbi, we should all be worried, shouldn't we? The government is adamant that they want to go ahead with this. And the explanation is that? What's the explanation?
I don't know if you have the release that also speak
Yes, I
about the likeliness of this not being implemented.
The likeliness.
Yes. It is most likely not going to be
The likelihood
implemented.
or likely?
The likelihoodness.
The likelihood.
The likelihood. And it is most likely not to be implemented. Roland, the question of whether it's good or bad has to go back reflecting on the reasons why at the first place we should even have taxation. I have followed it. I have read and listened to critical stakeholders speak on it. As for taxation or throwing VATs and all that, very useful. Others will also argue that, look, we should go production based as a country and not just taxation. My question is, yes, if you are producing, if you are delivering, if you are running a country and not looking at both sides, it becomes problematic. I'm not for it because of where we find ourselves as a country at the moment.
Where do
And
we
I
find
know
ourselves?
we are globally in difficult times, not only Ghana, everywhere on the earth. Everyone, if you talk to your friends in any part of the globe, they will tell you we are not in normal times. And that, I repeat, we are not in normal times. Now, what I can confidently say at this moment is that the finance ministry that had given that advice to the ECG and NEDCO, to be precise, to look at this increment is at the same time or currently looking at best ways to address issues of revenue mobilization and not looking at this 15% increment of VAT. A lot of people have raised concerns. People have said, look, do you want to take it easy on us given the timing? Another source would also tell you that this is an expectation by the IMF. Some will call it a conditionality. Some will say it's an expectation. But what I am saying basically is that when you look at the issue of taxation and production, personally, I see both to be what we should be implementing. As much as we are producing, we could be looking at taxation to get our systems running. But it shouldn't be to the detriment of the successes of our business people.
Are you sure you're coming from the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
Or we as individuals. Coming from the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I am not throwing away the issue of taxation entirely. And I initially mentioned that I am a proud daughter of Dr. And I share in his ideologies from A to Z.
To tax 15%.
Look, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia hasn't come anywhere in this country to tell you he's issuing that directive that they tax 15%. No.
Is he no more the head of government economic
If he is head of government economy, I just told you, I just mentioned that leadership, even when you read it, whether he is the chairman, he is not the chairman, what I am saying is that you don't direct.
Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia still?
He is.
Okay.
You can't take that from
Part
him.
of government.
No.
He is part of that. He's still the chairperson.
For
For
the economic management
You
team.
will be fair. If you want to be fair and you don't want to approach my submission with preconceived minds, you would have listened to me clearly when I said it is likely not to even be implemented. So you shouldn't even come asking, is he for taxation or other? I am just explaining the benefits of both. And taxation doesn't mean Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not for production. We all know. We know how he has been advocating for tax incentives when needed. We know how he has been advocating for support for agric in this country. We all know how he has been strongly advocating for support for TVET. We know how he has been advocating for support for the local industry, the small scale, the mass law, all the players that are supposed to be working effectively to get this country moving forward. What I am telling you basically is that, look, taxation and production should go hand in hand. We shouldn't actually get 1 point weighing the other. That's what I am saying. We shouldn't just go tax driven or solely production driven. That's what I am saying. And somebody might ask, so if you say even production should complement taxation, what have you done? And I'll quickly tell you what we have done in only agri sector, even if we want to go specific.
Why are you looking at
Yes, it's the backbone of our economy.
I haven't asked a question about agri. I didn't say you should
I
give me
am
agri
telling
statistics.
you, when you don't say, but I can't remember ever. I can't remember.
Or you want to put
ever,
the issues in context.
I can't remember ever it being fair for a host to gag a panelist on what you should be relating to. If you are contextualizing it, if you are bringing in scenarios, I think we are all always allowed to flow, and we are all always allowed to bring in scenarios. I have even seen people digress on this same platform, this same panel. They go to fetch areas that we are not even discussing, and nothing is done to them. Unless, of course, you want to say, Rabbi, don't talk about it.
Please go ahead.
So what I am saying is that as much as our consumers, as much as Ghanaians find this harsh, I am saying that, look, it is only when it's necessary to have VATs or to have taxation that we need to be looking in that direction. And on this particular matter, we can't confidently say it is even being implemented. It's still at the discussion stage. We are the most listening government. When the issue of E-level came, certainly people raised concern. We saw the reaction of government on it. So where I am bringing in production and what we have done...
Who raised concern?
Ghanaians, of course.
And you still blame NDC MPs in Parliament for being the reasons why VAT was not implemented and being the reason why we're going to the IMF because we couldn't raise and approve a tax handle in time.
Look,
like e-levy.
Roland, whether like e-levy or all, I am just driving home the situation that is currently at hand. And what I am telling you at the moment is that this said 15% VAT increment is likely not to even be implemented. And also, I wish to rehash the fact that we shouldn't, as a country, just focus directly on looking at the impact of the VAT or production. We should strike a balance between the two.
Right.
And where I was going, and you don't want me to go, is the effort we have also put in terms of production. Because when you are bashing us for taxation, we also should be allowed to tell you the balance we are striking between or bringing together with taxation and then the production. And I am picking agri specifically because that is what I want to talk about at this point. And I am telling you, the NDC did a growth rate of 2.7 in agri before leaving power, and we have come to do 5.8%. In actual terms, it tells you the number of beneficiary farmers we have done as a government. And the long-term effect of it is now we being able to say we as a country is food secure. The farmer's child, where I come from, will tell you that my father is able to feed us all year round now. We are able to tell you the number of metric tons of fertilizer we have given to these farmers, leading to food not entirely abundant, but to a very satisfactory rate. So for me, my point is, this is still under discussion. The implementation of it is likely not to be the same. And I'm very sure that leadership is considering it, given the times we have found ourselves. And surely we will bring Ghanaians the best of decision. Yeah.
Beatrice, at the end of the day, you have to look at the history of the Akufo-Addo-led Bawumia government in their policy implementation on taxation. They seem to take the first step, and when they test the waters and stakeholder reactions tend to be negative, then they back a retreat. Should that be the way to implement tax policies?
Good morning, Roland. As always, I'm happy to be here. I think that this morning's discussion, I don't even know the topic you asked Rabi, whether it's the same topic we are discussing.
It's the same topic.
And
She said she was putting it into perspective.
And so I would have loved to
Unless,
hear.
of course, she wants to say we shouldn't contextualize. Yes, unless, of course, you're saying that. Yeah.
Okay, so the question on balancing production with taxation, did they come to that realization 7 years after being in government? And so this morning, Rabi wants us to believe that when Dr. Bawumia said, we will move the economy of Ghana from taxation to production, he never said they will balance. They came to that realization. I mean, there are so many inaccurate data that has been put there, but I will not go there. You know, this government is a government that does not plan.
Oh, how do you mean?
In fact, they do not have the people of Ghana at heart. The strategy of this government has been, I don't know, reaction. They simply don't know what they are doing. The government is simply a mess, for want of a better expression. Why am I saying that? From September 2022 till December 2023, this government has cumulatively increased electricity tariff by 79.17% for non-lifeline consumers. So the people who are even lifeline consumers who cannot afford, this government has increased electricity by 73% from September 2022 till as we speak. And this data is available in the quarterly report of the PURC. Nana Jantwa is here.
Well,
They increase it for lifeline as well.
Yes, they increase cumulatively.
These are matters of public record.
Yes,
so,
and
so
you can. So if you're a government that you have increased, and this is not even the entire period, I'm just taking it from 2022 September to December. So if you are a government that has increased electricity by 79.17%, why would you introduce an additional 21?
59% major tariff increase.
Yes.
Please.
plus the 59 major tariff increase. These 79
You mean
was
alongside
even
the
the
other ones?
automatic adjustment formula that they use before the major tariff increment. Then you are now coming to add 21.9%. And I've heard a lot of people say government is imposing 15% VAT. Please, let me correct that impression. The tax that is being imposed on electricity today, when you and I leave our homes, our offices to buy electricity, is not 15%. It is 21.9% because you have 2.5 get fund levy, you have 2.5 NHI levy, you have 1% COVID levy before you have the 15% of the VAT. So let not the impression be created that the increment is 15%. First of all, it is 21.9% when you do the calculation.
Is it not true that a component of the other taxes just add up to the 15%?
Yes. So let's not represent as if the current increase will be 15%. Let people know the truth that it will be 21.9%. So when you buy your electricity, for instance, if you were doing 100 cedis, now you will do 121 cedis by no fault of yours, not even because they've increased prices of electricity, but because of the VAT component the government is increasing. And you see, this is not just electricity increment. This is a government that for more than 3 years, they have in the most insensitive manner not been able to provide school children with textbooks. But as we speak today, do you know that they have increased or they have imposed VAT on textbooks, journals, everything you buy academic? This government that has not provided parents with textbooks. Today, if you are going to buy textbook for your ward, you have to pay VAT. This is a government that has also introduced VAT. Even when you are depressed under them and you decide to buy beer, there is VAT on it now.
You mean because of the recent tax handle?
Because of the recent tax. So the cascading effect of this 21.9% increase in the electricity is not just on electricity. And so you can understand labor. If you were a teacher and you were earning 3,000 cedis a month, from September 2022 till now, your electricity consumption, then if you add the VAT to it, will be more than 90% increment. The standard of living, today, I was just writing the prices, and Rabbi said I shouldn't write sausage, which we used to buy for 5 cedis.
Which one? The local one, the imported? The normal ones?
The normal ones, which we used to buy, today is 19 cedis. Crate of egg, which we used to buy, 12 cedis, now it's 55 cedis. Sanitary pads, 2 cedi 50 pesos. I used to buy sanitary pads and distribute to many young girls in school. Today, the same sanitary pads is 20 cedis. Rent, which was 500, now it's 1,002. And so you have these same people living in the system. You've imposed all these taxes. Roland, I have in my hands here a compilation I did of the taxes this government increased or imposed from 2017 to 2024. This list is not even exhaustive. I have more than 26 different taxes that this government has either increased or introduced. 26.
So you're talking about existing taxes and the new handles?
Yes, and new handles. 26 different taxes that you have come. And the irony is, and I could understand why she was running away from the question whether Dr. Bawumia is still the head of the economic management team. Because he told us, and to quote him, that when you tax the people so much, you run into what he described as a cyclical downward spiral.
What?
A cyclical downward spiral. Maybe the daughter can explain to us what the father meant. A cyclical downward spiral. At the time when these 26 additional taxes would not have been paid by Ghanaians, today, I'm sure we are now going in a spherical downward spiral. They were using jargon, speaking English, renting university classrooms and speaking anyhow, without recourse to understanding the Ghanaian economy. Today, you cannot even speak to the same, today when you hold the MPP by their own words, they say, oh, you are attacking us. You shouldn't attack us. So when Dr. Bawumia was holding lectures and said that we don't need to tax or borrow to develop this country, he didn't know what he was saying. You can't even question them because that will amount to an attack. When Dr. Bawumia was running his mouth everywhere, just speaking anyhow, I remember in 2016, a certain economist told me that, which is the way this man is speaking, he doesn't understand anything in economics. At the time, we all thought, oh, no, maybe you don't like the man. Today, for all the hardships, for all the things we cannot afford, because of the recklessness of this government, we are having to pay VAT.
He's an economist, a certified one. He's lectured.
From where? Which certification?
Oh, he's lectured sabbatically at colleges in
cannot,
Canada, etc.
You see, the last time I listened to one.
So you are saying you are drawing a dichotomy between what the reality is as an economist.
He does not understand the Ghanaian economy. He's the last person we should even entrust our economy, or even beyond economy, anything into his hands. The man has shown that he simply speaks without the benefit of reflection. Where is he? This is a man, not too long ago, he was in the studios of Peace FM and said, anybody who taxes Momo does not understand electronic transactions. And that Momo is for the poor, and so Momo should not be taxed.
Well, he did make those
policies. A few weeks after that, he, as head of economic management team, introduced Momo. He should come and speak to it that he didn't introduce it. He introduced e-levy, and today you cannot even send monies across. These days, people send money through buses. Because if you dare send money, imagine you're a business person and you're sending 50,000 to your business partner. Look at the e-levy you will pay. So this man has proven, and by these new tax handles, have proven that they do not have a way out. And Roland, while we are having these discussions, if this government would have said that, you know what, when we did or when we imposed these taxes, we have the equivalent of the UGMC to show for it. So the NDC, if you claim you have UGMC, this is our equivalent. Or we have Ridge Hospital, or we have the equivalent of the Dodowa Hospital, or in Kumasi we have the equivalent of the Sewa Hospital, or in the area of water, if you add the 70 million production per day by way of the Kpong Water Project, the Atma Water Project, the Nsawam Water Project, this is also our equivalent. We would have elevated the discussion a bit, and the question would be
they
that...
have projects, only not completed.
Which projects?
Oh, they are ongoing projects.
But we also had projects that were ongoing and we didn't complete. In fact, President Mahama even had 4 years in office. He has a lot of projects to his credit. 7 years down the line, we should not be talking about uncompleted projects. In the run-up to the 2016 election, they named President Mahama Commissioner General. They thought they were mocking him. Because what? He was commissioning projects. Today, what is your equivalent of NDC's development in health? Because this government has had more taxes, more oil revenue, and recklessly borrowed than any government in the history of Ghana, not just the Fourth Republic. So what is their equivalent? So you keep imposing the taxes, and more than 45 billion of that is recorded in corruption. We find some under the beds of your ministers. It is a very painful discussion to have, that you work, the inflation is swallowing your work. Today, many young people cannot even tell the future. They cannot even tell whether they have hope in the country they live. And you have more than, these days, 12 billion annually by way of corruption. If you look at the Auditor General report, it's like a norm. It's like the new norm. We are competing for corruption. They just are wasteful. These people are so insensitive. Sometimes I want to understand that, you see, in the life of every political party, you may not get everything right, but at least, I'm wrapping up, but at least you would aspire to do certain things to balance, like how she's saying, what is the equivalence of balance? Because the great data she's quoting is false. She should read her own 2024 budget and look at the great growth the finance minister projected from the area of health in concluding, to education, to manufacturing, to service, to every area. This government has shown that they have not done anything to alleviate the sufferings and the poverty of the people. They have shown that they are the most corrupt government. They have shown that they are the most wasteful government. They have shown that they simply don't care. And if they have to impose as much taxes as they want on us, to hell with us. But the day of reckoning will come. And they will be gnashing their teeth and they will be asking, how come we didn't see this? Because they are the only ones enjoying. Today, the people who were being taken care of by their wives have mansions and riverfront. So what is 21% on electricity? They are sitting in the V8 where government is buying fuel. So when you complain about fuel prices, they don't feel it. You're on your own. But the day of reckoning will surely come.
And yeah, it's good that you are putting a perspective because you also lead a civil society organization that is now doing the advocacy. You had been on the side of the regulator before you entered into mainstream politics and now doing civil society and then consultancy. For my extraction, based on figures of so-called lifeline that won't be affected, apparently they just form a minute number.
Do they
Yes, well, so we extracted this from, and then if you look at the category, so we have the current tariff that will be put on, those to be excluded really are just within the regions of
30 units.
Yes. So you look at them. They don't
30,
fall. And we're not even getting up to 500,000 consumers, so to speak. I mean, realistically, haven't been at that side of regulation, and then you look at now being a consumer solely. What are the implications?
Roland, thank you very much. Before we get to that, I think Rabbi made a statement that is a bit hurting and a bit perturbing. How can you say that Mrs. Bawumia is the most beautiful second lady of the Fourth Republic? We've had
I don't understand.
She
She's
said-
entitled to make that
No,
statement.
but I'm saying there are other second ladies who were equally beautiful. So, I mean, if you were a female activist, you do not discriminate on that front. That is hurting. To say that one person is the most beautiful. Beauty, it has its different fronts.
We wouldn't have had Ghana's most beautiful.
I mean, whatever is
Being promoted by the same platform.
So Raps is
The
saying that
issue
beauty
we are-
lies in the eyes of the
Yeah,
people.
So I am saying that you need to be very.
Rap says-
No, I'm saying that you. When she was talking, I didn't. I didn't.
Look, in fact, the
Please.
beautiful ones are all from my party pool. So I'll go and deal with my
Oh,
mothers.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
Very beautiful women from NP.
So Roland, the point is that you need to be very circumspect. You need to be sensitive to some of these things when you say it. You might be doing politics, but you need to be very careful because there were also other women who were second ladies, and you cannot tell me they were ugly. I mean, if you just came out of, you just apologized, but you cannot say that they were ugly. Everybody have their own beauty. Do you get me?
Okay, so Rap's position is that for a second lady, Samira Bawumia is the most beautiful.
You can
the word is most.
You can
And
say
I'm not saying
she's entitled to that
I'm
position.
not saying she is the only. She is the most.
You can say that she's.
So that's her position, and your reaction is that it is disrespectful, and she needs to apologize.
She didn't say it's disrespectful.
So the
She
point
says
is that
it's harsh and not fair. As a
please.
female activist, I shouldn't
It
be
is also
biased.
disrespectful.
But for me, I think it is my position.
Please, can we
and people
continue?
go on beauty contest and do admit this one is more beautiful than myself.
Yeah,
People
I
admit.
Please
Yeah.
continue for me.
My dear, this government they turned themselves into Zacchaeus. You know the story of Zacchaeus?
You mean the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government?
Yes.
They're in the mode of Zacchaeus.
Yeah, they have the mode of Zacchaeus.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, because you know who Zacchaeus is. Everybody knows. They need some visitation to change their ways. Zacchaeus was a tax collector who unduly taxed people and taxed the people anyhow. Do you understand? I mean, this thing that is going on is so unfortunate. It's unacceptable. You see, Rawlings denied Chairman Rawlings, when he was president, even as chairman, denied the IMF World Bank of a VAT on domestic consumption.
True.
I'm talking because I work with all the presidents. J. Kufu, it's what, because you were in HIPIC, they tried to bring it through the back door. Sadly, he rejected it. On domestic consumption, we should understand that there is VAT on commercial consumption because you are doing a business with electricity. Do you get me? When you come to a non-residential
and
class,
it's a direct tax.
Yes, a direct tax. The non-residential class, the LV low voltage, the MV medium voltage, and the high voltage. That is the mines and all the big industries. There is a VAT there, but on domestic consumption, His Excellency Atta Mills, he rejected it. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he didn't even want to listen. I work with all of them.
When you were at the PRC?
Yes. He didn't even want to listen. And now you come, you behave like Zacchaeus. And you impose about 50 taxes. When you wanted power in 2016, you see, I remember the beautiful thing they said. And at the end of the day, it became deceptive. His Excellency Mahmoud Baumia said that they would not engage in taxation, but they will engage in production. That the taxes at the time were too many. And we all hailed him. We all said that, oh, yes, I mean, whatever you are saying is true. Today, we are in IMF, and today, you are going to impose a tax on domestic consumption of electricity. I am surprised that, you see, whatever Yalban says, Yalban, he's my brother. Doc, good morning. But the point is that Yalban, in 2013, down to 2016, Yalban and his people, including Asamoah Dami, I had a tiff with even Comrade Asamoah. They were always engaged in demonstrations. Aluta Chobwe.
You mean as head of organized labor?
Yes, they were always in Chobwe. We always met the 18 heads of the
What
trading.
are you driving at?
I'm driving at what Yalban is saying. He's lost his voice and he's lost his arm.
You,
He should come out and everything. He should come out and do better than what he's saying. Because this is unacceptable. Why is Yalban quiet? Even what he said, me, I haven't heard it. It is subtle. He should let us hear his voice louder. Because the workers of this nation are dependent on him. Why is Yalban quiet? Why is TUC quiet? Because at the time, they engaged in a lot of dissent, a lot of alutes, a lot of demonstrations, red bands everywhere. Anytime there was a time, look, there was a time we did a negotiation for 7 months. They needed a reduction. Why are they quiet? Why are they quiet? Because we are saying that, oh, we haven't heard their voice. That voice that he has put down out there, for me, it is too low.
it's too subtle.
Subtle and low. We are not hearing it. He should do better than he's doing.
You want organized labor?
Yeah.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands of
Why
workers to hit the streets.
Yeah, they have to hit the street to tell this government that they cannot take us for granted. We have even been too nice to this government because they are taking us for granted. They are taking us for granted for a ride. Because when we speak, they say, oh, Ghanaians will talk and forget about it. Hitting the street, there's nothing wrong. It is dissent. It is showing that we are not happy with what you are doing. You see, when Rabbi was speaking, he said they have not even, it is possible they will not even implement it. So why did they come and tell us? When they were hitting the street in 2016, 2013, please, Roland, was it wrong? When the organized labor, their voice, I'm telling you that at one point.
No, it was not wrong. We're special grouping, so you have to put pressure.
Yes, it was not wrong. Why are they quiet today? Why are they quiet? Look, in 2013, we did a tariff, and we went for a negotiation for almost 7 months. Even though it was there, even though the utilities needed the cash, they said we should reduce it. And a threat.
2013.
Yes.
Under John Mahama.
Under John Mahama. Beatrice was saying that his leader was in power for 4 years. He was in power. He actually worked for 2 years, 5 months. Because for the first year, he was in court.
Well, that's true.
Do you get me? And it was left with 5 months. He was in court for 7 months. Then 5 months. Then he worked for 2 years. The last year was elections. So for 2 and 5 months, what did he do? He did things, he really did what he had to do. Under pressure. With the MPP breathing on his neck. Me, I was in PURC.
Yes, you were.
Yes, I bought a branch of some of these things.
Actually, they insulted you.
Yes, they insulted me, told me I'm a prostitute, said so many.
Relax.
Yes, no, I'm not relaxing, I'm speaking the truth. Why are they quiet? And I believe the NDC themselves are not, they are too quiet. They are too quiet. What didn't these people do when even they were not part of the tariff increment? It was the PURC, an independent body. The only thing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would do was to say that, okay, if you have done this, then I'm paying a subsidy for a certain class. That is all he did. But today, the finance minister has even gone beyond his remit and come out with a message or a press release that he's imposing a VAT on it. If once you touch the structure of the tariff, it should come from the PURC and it should go through stakeholder consultation because you are changing the structure.
So you're saying even this imposition is even wrong?
It is wrong.
By way of the modus operandi?
Yes, you cannot do that. It is not your duty. As long as it is a tariff, anything to do with the tariff, the PURC should sit down and see if it goes according to the tariff setting guidelines. There's a tariff, you can't just get up and say I'm imposing. You see, you can't just do that. There's a tariff setting guidelines which indicates what you can do as far as the tariff is concerned. There's an act, 538, that determines what you can do when it concerns tariffs. But this government has decided to put everything upon themselves. They do not care. They become like Romans.
Well, Nania, somebody will say that at the end of the day, we need these taxes.
You don't need to. You see, there is a tariff setting guidelines that indicate, and that is law. Okay. You see, you cannot just get up and do what you like. They just get up and do what they like.
And then you have to listen to the people too.
You have to listen to, because immediately you want any variation in the tariff structure, you need to do stakeholder consultations to talk to various stakeholders and listen to them. So you can even go back to the World Bank and say, IMF, World Bank, yes.
All together, okay.
You see, all those people, the other presidents, they actually went out to the people and said, my people are not for it. They did that. And I'm saying that on authority because I was there. They did that.
And they will listen.
Because why won't they say?
Why do you think then we're having this imposed?
Yeah, because you see, these people have squandered money so much. What the IMF is seeing, I don't think it is pleasant. So they need you to also show that you are raising internal revenue. Because what you have done, it is so much. That if we give our money to you, that money is not free. IMF World Bank is not Father Christmas. There's money belonging to a group of nations, and that money has to be paid back.
Please inform me.
Do you get me? So the point is that this government should not do, they cannot do what they like. And you see, Roland, sometimes I believe they are a bit confused.
Which people?
The MPP government, they are confused because they will bring something out, pull back, bring something out, pull back. Or they don't think through anything. Or how can Rabbi say that it might not even be implemented? Why did you come and tell us? You see, because what? Because you see, if you are really serious and you have a plan, do you get me? If you are really serious and you have a plan and you respect the people that you are ruling, you will speak to them in a form of a stakeholder consultation before you come out and say that I did my consultations and this is what they will accept.
Like what we should have done for e-levy.
What should have done for e-levy? Everything that you do is you rule a nation and you have people. People are not just stones, they are human beings.
Do you think that is why recent key tax handles have failed?
Of course, why not? Because you see, for instance, e-levy, it is my money on my wallet. So if you want to come and take money that has been taxed already, if I get my income, there's an income tax on it ranging from a certain about 25% to 25%. Do you get me? So that if it is on my wallet, it's my money.
Right.
And if you want to tax it again, you should do a myriad of stakeholder consultations. And let's say that, okay, ABC, because this is Ghana. The country is for us. If it collapses, it collapses on our heads. So you do it and say that, okay, this is what we can afford. You can take this amount, but you can't just get up one day. Even going to IMF, you said, oh, we will not go. Ghana is a proud nation. You do it in the night, and in the next morning, we are in IMF.
Okay. Rabs, in economics, and my basic knowledge of economics shows that electricity is one of many products that are inelastic. So you're not readily going to find substitutes. Now, if you know we have an elastic product or service that is used by the masses, and you decide, touch wood, that you're going to additionally burden consumers with a tax, then why is it that conclusions cannot be drawn that the government of Akufo-Addo Bawumia is insensitive?
Roland, before I come to your question, I'll have to do some response. And then I do appreciate Nana Ya's position. And mostly I take time to listen to her because of where she sits. Now, as somebody who has worked with NGOs, rapport and stakeholder consultation is something that I have learned and I do hold in high esteem. It is very true that for you to implement any policy, the very important thing to do is to consult your stakeholders. Now, the question is whether the key players, government, the electricity leadership and all that, have done stakeholder consultation or not, which I would say yes. However, if she is pushing for broader stakeholder consultation, that I wouldn't run away from that. So yes, I will agree with stakeholder consultation, and I would add that if it is done in a very narrow form, it should be broadened, and that is probably what I would say she should be asking for.
So you're saying, you're saying she's right?
There has been stakeholder consultation. She's right for calling for stakeholder consultation. But I am saying, I would also say, if the stakeholder consultation is being made broad enough, also let's not undermine the appeal or the access given to us here today to discuss the same issues. We commenting, the viewers, the panelists, whether NDC, MPP, a neutral person, all of us form part of the stakeholders, and commenting on it this morning still means we are part of giving out what our views are as stakeholders. So we all form part of the stakeholders. These discussions are still part of stakeholders. Then in Beatrice's submission, I'm so surprised that this morning she's happy to even mention my name, Rabbi, because the last time we spoke, we sat here, she wasn't comfortable. She just didn't want me to mention her name. Who? And if mentioning names are wrong,
who?
Beatrice, she knows very well. She knows what I'm referring to. So I'm even just surprised that she is happy to even mention my name this morning. That's so surprising, and I'm just asking what has changed. VAT. Is she trying to tell us when they come in any unlikely event that they come, they are not going to look at issues of VAT, they wouldn't do any charges? Is that what she is saying?
Are you saying
then
that? Are you saying that the increment on electricity additionally is right, despite the concerns by consumers?
I mentioned it earlier in my submission before they even took their time. I said, for me, we should look at timing, we should look at impact, and that's exactly what is being done at the moment. So
you agree that the government got it wrong?
I'm not saying the government got it wrong.
So what are you saying?
I am saying, just like she is calling for stakeholder consultation, and it is true that she might call it, we bring it out and pull it, but whatever way is being discussed, I think with the level of concerns being raised, it is worth a relook. You say insensitive. Insensitive?
That was my question.
As compared to the NDC, I'm not answering it directly to you because you are asking from a very neutral point of view. I responding to the same question that Beatrice actually threw to my eyes, saying the NPP government is incompetent, is insensitive. We saw you very incompetent. We saw you telling us, even at the point when we were crying out loud, not telling us that we would go back and review, not telling you that we do appreciate your critics, hence we will relook at it, not coming back to say, oh, good, fellow Ghanaians, what you said is really true. We have gone back to the drawing board, and this is the adjustment that we are willing to make. No, you came to tell us you are proud enough to call Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia somebody who doesn't know anything about economics. For God's sake, if you say that, I will reply to you that Mahama has no clue when it comes to governance. And why would I say that? When you refer to the 4th John,
Whose book is this?
this is written. Can you allow
It's
me?
written by someone.
Can you allow
Whose
me?
book
say,
is this?
That is Manasseh Azure's book.
No,
A citizen
you're
like
not
all
going
of
to
us.
read it. Let me ask you a
A
question.
citizen, Manasseh Azure.
So
a
you're not going to
citizen
quote from
like
that
us.
book.
Why would I not?
You're not going to
No,
quote.
no.
It is
For
not.
the platform.
If it, oh no,
What?
please,
Have you done
no,
master's
no,
before?
please.
What do you mean
If
by
it is,
Is this an
please,
authority?
if it is an autobiography, if it is a book written by John Dramani Mahama chronicling his life,
Yes.
I will allow you. Let me ask you a
this is
question.
This is an
an
authority.
opinion.
So a key question, yes,
That's an
you're not going to
opinion.
read Manasseh Azure's opinion
Yes.
do
in
we
relation
not,
to.
do we not listen to each other's
Okay.
opinion in this country? Do you not pull out people's
What is
opinion
your
on this?
opinion,
No,
not
no, no.
somebody's
You
opinion?
can relate to somebody's opinion.
Okay.
You were just calling
All right.
people to come and say what
All
their
right.
opinion
All right.
is. You were just
All right.
saying they are silent in this country. They are no more talking. Is it not their opinion you were calling
It is
for?
not their opinion.
It is their
It is
opinion.
really-
They were given
Yes,
expression.
official capacity.
No.
Why?
Please,
In
that's
his
all.
official
Raps,
capacity.
raps,
Oh, no.
raps.
If you are
Raps,
telling me-
let's continue.
No,
if you are
please.
telling me
Raps,
it's an
raps,
authority,
raps.
it's fine.
You have to go back
Raps,
for a few
I have
years,
been
H.
receptive to name calling in relation to the context of the discussions we're having.
Look.
And I'm hosting, and I'm saying that if you want to quote Manasseh Azure Awene,
Yes.
a book authored by him and not by the individual John Dramani Mahama, because there are two types of having your life chronicled. You do it yourself,
Yeah.
or somebody does it for you.
Agreed.
You can review it and still say it should go because
Agreed.
it's a literary work. I'm saying that if it is an opinion of a second or a third party, I'm not going to allow you to quote it. But I've allowed you to make innuendos, invectives, etc. That's allowed. And make an opinion on people's personalities.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
So, let me ask you a
Granted.
question.
Look,
let me ask you. That's
Can,
it. Let
can
me
I
ask
land?
perhaps.
I was making a point.
No, you don't have to land.
Unless you don't want me to
Because
land.
you wanted to land on the
No,
fourth
that's
John.
even where I wanted
Okay.
to land on.
But you
Okay.
spoke.
No,
Please
no,
ask
no.
your question, then I'll come.
Okay.
Nanaya, are you now the host?
No,
Are you
please.
hosting
No, but
me?
you've spoken to
No, you've spoken
Nanaya,
more than I
no,
have
please,
spoken.
let's not.
No, but she shouldn't
No,
do
no.
that.
This is your
She
second
shouldn't
round.
do that.
Please,
No,
please.
if it's my second round, I have
Okay, so-
rebuttals. I shouldn't reply.
Please, so
I need to talk
please,
too much
please,
because I'm here
ladies,
to talk.
I envisage that
I'm
there'll
not
be.
here to watch you.
All
I'm
right.
here to
So
talk.
it is
No,
11 past
Nanaya.
8.
No,
we
please.
end
No,
at
let's not do
25.
this to
So
each
so
other.
let's
No.
make it short for ourselves.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a key individual, and I remember that he was part of the individuals, including the finance minister, etc. Yofi Grant, who were demonstrating against the John Mahama-led government. He's the CEO for the Consumer Protection Agency. I've known him, Kofi Kapito. This is what he says about the current tax.
Yeah.
You know Kofi Kapito? You see him in your circle?
very well.
Oh, great.
Very well.
He says the tax is a prime example of the growing burden on consumers. And then he adds, the consumer is tired. For somebody who is close to the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government,
Excellent.
you should know that this is
comes,
real.
this comes to rehash what I said earlier, and this doesn't defeat my point, saying that look, considering the current happening, considering the economic hardship that we are going through, leadership has taken a step back to relook at it, and I am for it. So what I said has not no different or like gap between what he is just saying. I am not condemning it entirely because certainly there should be decisions made at a point. But what is very prudent is the listening capacity of the implementers. If you are a lead person in policy implementation, your ability to listen to your citizenry is a very good trait of you. And I was just pushing something here. I am telling you, if she says we are insensitive, I am humbly reminding her that there is no level of insensitiveness than coming to tell your own people that you are governing, that you, insensitivity or whatever. I am not English. I am Hausa. In fact, I'm even doing well with this English I'm speaking on this point. So correction of all accepted. Whether insensitivity or not, there are people who have demonstrated high level of insensitivity in this country. By coming to tell us they are dead goat on a lame horse, Yentiobia is something that
When did they say that?
everybody is
Recently?
still. Mahama said it.
But he was, that's
Whether
why the
recent
verdict was
in
on him in
1,000 years,
2016.
absolutely. But you are subject to your opinion,
Okay, Beatrice.
and it is also fair to
So
be
you are
reminded.
So you are saying they are rather insensitive.
Extremely insensitive.
All right,
Telling us you are
Beatrice,
dead goat on a lame horse.
sorry,
is highly
the two of you are only
insensitive.
going to have
It's
2 shots
highly
in time
insensitive, yeah.
because we don't have the time.
Because you've given all the time to Rabi.
No issues. You've always had the time to yourself as well.
Okay, right.
Yes,
So-
there are times you do have the time.
No.
I'm glad you are giving
Now-
it to me. I'm very glad.
So, for example, Money
you treat
says
somebody
that
bad,
this
you say the
government is
person
going to
shouldn't
tax us and even tax us
Well,
having
you don't
sex,
want to
etc.
be-
I mean, that's. I mean, it said very soon they will even tax
me
sex.
Auntie
But
Nanaya.
but
Auntie
but
Nanaya, no.
but the question the question
Or
then
your
would,
mama.
Raps,
Go on.
please.
You have
The,
to
the
respect.
question then will be, if there seemed to be a lack
Learn to
of
respect.
having,
Go on.
if there seemed to
We
be
are
a lack
listening to
of
you.
having a space to have a listening ear, then how would you describe the current position where Ghana finds itself, where the IMF, and so we need the taxes, and so there should be this tax? Or is it that we should find alternative means?
You see, and Rabi can only do what she has done this morning. I mean, what else can she do? I'm saying that because your question.
What else
Oh,
do you
please.
expect?
When you were talking,
when
you
you
were
talk
talking,
to
let's
what
not
do you
mess this up.
expect?
Let's not mess it. It
Sorry,
only has
I'm
it only has
sorry,
3
She
I'm
minutes.
sorry,
she
but
has
when
been
you call
insulted.
people, when you say somebody speaks anyhow, when you say he
I
has
didn't
no
say
she
that.
hasn't
I wrote it.
said
Look,
you
she
can
said
only-
he
Raps,
speaks anyhow.
raps,
I wrote
raps,
it.
raps.
She said Dr. Baumia speaks anyhow.
All right.
And
Oh, as for
expect to
Dr.
hear-
Baumia, he
That's
actually
what you
speaks
said.
anyhow.
All right.
Excellent.
As for
So you
Dr.
see, she's not
Baumia,
even
he
wrong.
actually
Please,
speaks
let's
anyhow.
continue.
No, it's
All
not
right.
about
Please,
Rabi.
you have
It's
3
talking
minutes.
about Beatrice
So
as well.
my question as you
listen
wrap
to
up.
both sides. Don't do this. It's not
okay.
fair.
But
It's
you are
not
talking
fair.
too much.
Okay.
Because you are not doing the right thing. You're not being fair to me, honestly.
is
If
not
she
being
said
fair
Dr.
to you?
Mahmoud Baumia
She
speaks
didn't mention
anyhow.
you.
She did mention names. Am I not here?
Did she mention
Okay,
you?
Raps.
I'm defending Dr.
Raps.
Mahmoud Baumia. If
Raps.
I
That's
do
why
that
you
to
are
Mahama,
here.
she should
So
speak to it. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
You that you are
honestly.
coming to cook the fourth John.
So 3 minutes.
Yes, you had a whole
Why is
paragraph
she-
of
Yes, of
3
course,
minutes.
yes,
Please,
because I knew she would do
let's
that.
wrap up nicely. 3 minutes.
Okay, so let me wrap up nicely. You see,
doesn't want us to-
the reason we are where we are, and let's not mince words about it,
What do you mean by
is
that?
because this government wanted to fraudulently take away our assets. And by way of our revenue, let me prove it. Do you know that one of the biggest scandals to have hit this nation is the PDS scandal? Today, we are having to discuss the VAT and government imposition of VAT because the Millennium Compact, which was supposed to give us the $500 million, never came because Dr. Baumia single-handedly, and in the words of Peter Mewu, fraudulently changed the bank guarantee to an insurance guarantee and handed over the assets of the of ECG worth over 2 billion to Babes who are their friends. She should tell me I'm wrong. She should tell me I'm wrong. And so, but for that singular fraudulent act by Dr. Baumia, who chaired that meeting to change that guarantee from a bank guarantee to an insurance guarantee, which insurance guarantee was also fraudulent because those Ahoot companies said they never even gave those guarantees, we would not have been here. We are here because ECG has been saddled with debts. Under recovery, so many things, transmission losses, the whole energy
All the
sector
debts
under
you
this
talk about
government
are legacy.
is a mess.
Any debt
And
you
how
mention,
will they
you can
correct
say
the
legacy
mess?
debt. Any
How would they correct the mess? They can only correct the mess when they impose hardship. So let nobody sit here and when we are discussing the very things that pain us,
Okay.
that we had access to $500 million, how much are they seeking to receive with this VAT? You threw away that money. We would have made over $2 billion by way of the whole program. You sat in your office, fraudulently changed a guarantee. And today when you are imposing taxes and you say we shouldn't say it, what do they mean? That while we are being subjected to hardship, while you have $1 million stashed under your bed, while your ministers who we knew until they came into power, all of a sudden are living their dream lives, while the president who wore Kambu to campaign is chartering private jets, we should not talk about it. You want to dictate the pitch and mode and choices of words. You had your time. Let me have my time. And so this government,
So you have a minute.
it's a government that we have a collective duty to boot out. It's a government that is only concerned about their family and friends. In your own party, if you are not related to a certain family, you do not have a space.
Oh, how?
In your own party.
So that's why you're beating Shamima.
Nanado is
That's why you're
giving
beating Shamima.
airports built by John Mahama to his daughters until he came to power. What work
Because she
were his
she doesn't
daughters
have
doing?
space.
And so we have a challenge at heart. The Auditor General report shows that we are losing so much to corruption. The COVID expenditure ended up in your pocket, and all our taxes, our revenues are being misused. Today, you cannot hit your chest and say that in any area you've done anything better than the John Mahama you vilified. You cannot hit your chest and say that I am holding you by this indicator, that this single area we did better. And when we are complaining about the hardship, when we are complaining about our pains, when we are complaining about the so many taxes, you have the guts to tell us which words to use and which words not to use.
Roland,
you're 3 minutes.
You know, illegal, when you do these things, you compromise the system and you encourage illegal connections. How? Yeah, because if I cannot pay, I will do illegal connection. For instance, Beatrice used 100 cedis as a yardstick or as a benchmark. She said that you pay, I think, 121. But no, you pay 142 because you have to.
Conservatively.
Yes, because you have to pay the tax, the 21. Then you have to also get your 100 cedis. You get, if your consumption a month is 100, you pay the tax of 21 and also have to find another 21 to pay to get a round figure of 100 cedis. So you end up paying 142, and that is a lot. You see, I mean, I hate this equalization of this government, right?
What do you say they equal?
Because
the reaction.
Yes, I mean, anytime NDC did it, so NDC did. You said NDC didn't do well. You said His Excellency John Dramani Mahama didn't do well. So we should vote against them. And Ghana did. So why are we always going back to say NDC did it? So it means that whatever they did, you are now doing worse. So when you talk about legacy debt, I want to know which legacy is this, because ESLA was put in place to clear the legacy debt. Now ESLA has been encumbered. So which legacy debt? Me, I work in the sector. So which legacy debt are we talking about? Because ESLA was meant to give the utilities a clean sheet so that they can go and borrow, so that they don't have any debt standing in their name, especially the IPPs who are businessmen.
Being the objective of the handle. Yeah.
Yes, because even ECG, VRA, Gridco, they all go to the market and borrow. Do you get me? Or even to be able to do their work. So they're always talking like, which legacy debt? They should come and tell us the period from where to where the legacy debt is standing. I mean, enough of all these lies and enough of the equalization. Roland, I believe that you see the MPP, where they are wrong, they should say they are wrong. Okay. So that we have mercy on them.
Okay. Just a minute for you.
Yes.
For us to just wrap up on the last thing.
Which one is this?
The MPP internal elections, yes. You know, Raffle, Japan, the lawyer,
yes,
he's a good friend of mine.
Okay,
just a minute.
That.
And Francis Asensu, yeah.
Me, I know Francis Asensu. We used to call him Kabila.
Kabila?
Yes, actually, I interviewed him when he came to Free Zones. I mean, I know him as a young man.
What do you make of the race? It looks like invectives, the challenge.
Yeah, because...
Serious campaign.
A serious campaign for the Bantama seat. I mean, what I have, my problem with him is all the play. Whatever is Honorable Kennedy is saying is true. You go to Laboni, all these houses...
Kennedy Japan is right.
Because I was surprised that he was saying, because all these houses have been sold. You go there because, for instance, these houses at Labonia, where they are selling now, and where people are upset, that place has been there for over 60 years. It's like a legacy public housing. And the agreements Kwame Nkrumah had with the chiefs was they didn't pay, he just paid the token, government paid the token, and said that this place would not be sold ever. So it has always been there. All you do is maybe renovate it. Even if you want to change the face because the place is a high-end place.
If you listen to the statement, it says it's a redevelopment program. It's been on for some time.
What redevelopment program? That place has been there for so long. Why do you redevelopment for whom? You are sucking public servants who live there and breaking down the houses when even they are there. They are not on retirement. Why are you breaking redevelopment for what? If you want to redevelop, why don't you build it in high-rise buildings for the public servants?
You're a commercial woman. Who do you predict could? What are the nuances for this?
You see, when it comes to elections, predicting is not this thing. But with all these going on, Asensu should be careful. Yeah, because you see, Kennedy too has some kind of leverage. And now he has waded into the thing. And whatever he's saying is not a lie. They shouldn't take it. I heard the leadership saying that they should bring him to book. If you do the right thing, nobody will speak.
Okay.
The
internal elections.
I only hope, not the internal election. You gave everyone a closing remark on the initial issues they mentioned.
No, I started with you.
I hope.
So you've ended though.
So I will say my conclusive remark.
A minute, you will not comment on it.
Roland, okay. I was just about to say, I hope you allow me flow and not heckle.
If you do 60 seconds, I'll allow you
and
flow.
also, they would not jump into what I am saying.
But you jumped into ours.
No, please.
So what
no
I am
jumping.
saying
60
is
seconds. Promise me.
Emotional blackmail is
Oh,
allowed.
please.
It's allowed to blackmail people emotionally. But it's also fair for the viewers to just do what they have been doing. They are watching us. They know what we have done. And look, to call it equalization or whatever, we will never stop reminding them. If they are in a glass house, they shouldn't throw stones.
It is a sign of failure.
It is still fresh in our minds. Look, if we are delivering and we are giving results, we say it by day, this is what we are doing. They should just keep quiet and watch what we are doing. I sat your professor, even you yourself, I have shown you evidence of achievements of this government. We will come back to it one day. We will come and talk about it. But the 3.6 million bus branding, we haven't forgotten. 22 million Jida scandal is still there, fresh in our 600 million. They were voted, but that doesn't mean
you're rehashing the campaign message.
That doesn't mean they never did. That doesn't mean they never did.
The time is up.
That doesn't mean they never did. That doesn't. You gave
internal elections.
You gave. You said I shouldn't talk internal elections. I haven't done that.
No, because you use your 1 minute
No. I used it to say my closing remark.
Please, a minute. Please, I get it.
You are not fair, Roland.
For the people of Ashanti region.
I'm fair.
For the people of Ashanti region watching.
It's my internal election. The internal election.
I gave you a minute. You decided to speak on.
No. Because you didn't allow me to finalize on the initial topic.
Okay, the internal election. Raps.
Yes, we are a very organized party. We encourage competition. What is going on there is purely competition. And at the end of the day, we will come out with a good candidate, and then the party will still be in the lead in the whole process. Whether Ken has said it or we were talking about opinions on this table. It's his opinion. If he has expressions to make, nobody is saying he shouldn't
Ken's
say.
talk is just opinion.
Look, even what you are saying is your opinion. Okay. Whatever you say is an opinion. And what I am saying is that whether he has picked side, whether he is predicting, predictions are just predictions until they are realized. So for me, it is a good process. We are coming out very well, and NPP will break the 8, inshallah.
You only have 60 seconds.
Yes, we are breaking the 8.
Well, let me say that.
Harriet, please, I have 2 more minutes to read messages.
Let me say that whether at the presidential or parliamentary level, the election of any MPP person, President MP, is meaningless to the people of Ashanti-Man. Today, for every electricity they enjoy in the Ashanti-Man, in the Fourth Republic, the NDC gave them. Any water that you open your tap to drink in Ashanti-Man, the NDC gave you. If you're a market woman, your mother was a market woman, and you are selling in a Sawasa KJT, the NDC gave it to you. I'm telling you. And so whoever emerges as the MPP, MP, or whatever, it has no meaning to the people of Ashanti-Man.
Let me read some messages.
What we want is development.
Let me read some messages, Lady Raps. Yeah, it was 60 seconds.
It's not 60 seconds.
Okay, so I have this one from.
You expect me to be mute? How?
Kalioman. Kalioman says, asks Naneya whether she is referring to Zacchaeus, the short man who climbed the tree to see Jesus. I'm supporting Blaster Studio. That's why I'm digesting myself and Cookie. These people don't make baby laughing. Master Planner Junior Kintampo. Zach, good morning to you, my great friend. He says, tell Beatrice that the biggest scandal in this country is the Airbus scandal, which involves government official 1. Nana, are you a co-host? You like asking questions. And Zach, let me just say that there's an official report by Shraj on this Airbus scandal. And I think I keep seeing references, even to publications so-called made by the UK newspapers, which really were never true. So please, let's put all the matters into perspective. Musa Abatwa also has sent us a message. Musa Abatwa, good morning to you. Aswase. He says, Baumia, they all benefited from... Oh, Harriet. Now I have Prince Henry. He says, Nana, the taxman, has moved from production to more taxation. And then Kakre someone says, John Dramani Mahama never said anywhere that Yentiobia. If she is certain of a statement, she should provide the time, place, and the event.